What's up, everybody? I'm CJ from Z-Grill Smoker School. Now listen, I know smoking a brisket can seem a little intimidating, a little bit stressful, a little bit hard, but I'm gonna show you it doesn't have to be any of those things, so let's get started. Your Z-Grill's pellet grill has a smart PID 3.0 controller, meaning we can set our Z-Grill's app to exactly the temperatures we want it. We're gonna throw in their included probe to make sure we're cooking the brisket to the right temperature, and we'll be able to monitor the cook of the smoker and the internal temps of the brisket. Easy as can be, we're basically gonna set it and then we'll monitor it from inside the house. It's a hot day here in Southern California. I don't wanna hang outside. Before we actually get our Z-Grill fired up, we gotta treat that brisket right. So earlier in the house, what we did, we set up our brisket, we took it out of the cryo bag. I'm using a 14-pound-ish brisket. Got it out of that packaging, got it dried off with some paper towels. We started trimming it. Now every brisket is different, but these few steps will work on any brisket you buy. The first thing you're gonna wanna do is take off that hard chunk of fat. It's called the decal fat. Use a very sharp knife and be careful. You're gonna slice that bad boy off as much as you can while still maintaining the shape of the brisket. You don't wanna like dig into it. We want an even, rounded, aerodynamic brisket so that smoke rolls over the top and we can have a beautiful bark going. On this particular brisket, there's a very thin edge on the flat muscle. So we're gonna cut that whole piece off. If that part is too thin, it's going to basically burn up and dry out. So you might as well take it off. Since this is a full packer brisket where there's a point muscle and a flat muscle, I like to trim the fat cap off of the point because it has a lot more intermuscular fat in there, so it doesn't need that fat on top to, you know, juicify the meat, right? And then I will take the fat cap down to about 1/4 of an inch on the flat muscle, which is the leaner muscle of the two. And then we're gonna flip that bad boy over and take off any silver skin on the flat muscle. A lot of people will say they take all the fat and all the trimmings and all that stuff and they'll make sausage or burgers with it, or they'll make tallow with it. I'm pretty much here to say that they're gonna throw it away. I mean, best intentions, but yeah, usually it doesn't happen. But you do what you gotta do with your leftover scraps. Once we get our brisket all trimmed up and aerodynamic and looking nice, take off any scraggly bits, any parts that'll burn up, any of that stuff. We're gonna go ahead and season it up. I have a nice peppery barbecue rub. It is a big chunk of meat, so do not be afraid to season it. Starting with the fat cap side first, because that is the side that's gonna go down on the grill grate. And then we're gonna finish on the other side with our presentation side, and that'll make sure we have a nice bark being built with all that seasoning. Cover it up really well, sides, top, bottom, all that, all right? Set it aside, and that brings us to where we're at right now. We gotta get our Z-Grills fired up. One trick we are gonna do is we're gonna use the Z-Grill smoker tube. Fill this bad boy up, we'll light the end, get it burning, get it smoldering, blow out that flame, and then it'll help build more smoke in there. Listen, it's a big piece of meat. It's a big brisket. We want to give it all the smoke we can. With this cook, we're using Z-Grill's oak pellets. I figure we're gonna do a little Texas style brisket. Might as well use that oak in there. Now with your brisket cook, there are two ways to do it. You have low and slow and hot and fast. For me, I do not have all day and all night for a brisket. So we are not gonna do low and slow, we're gonna do hot and fast. That means we're gonna set our Z-Grill to 300 degrees Fahrenheit. We're gonna give it all that good smoke. We're gonna take it to 165, 170 internal temperature. And then we're gonna wrap it up in foil and some other goodies, get it back on. And then we'll take that internal temperature to 205, 207, right in that range. Make sure it's probe tender, remove it, let it rest, and then we'll slice into the bad boy. Time to get this Z-Grill fired up. Get our brisket on, do your best to shape it up the way you want it to cook. Since most of the heat is coming from this side, this is where the fire pot is. We have the point over there, flats on this side. Smoke will cover it and run out through the chimney here. Let's go ahead and get our probe in. Just shut it down and let it go. While we're giving this brisket a smoke bath, you know I gotta talk about Z-Grill's amazing crowdfunding program. It's where you buy one grill today, and you get yourself a new grill every 5 years, up to 10 times, baby. Z-Grills doesn't just sell grills, they boldly reward trust. Z-Grill's crowdfunding program, it's bold, it's smart, and it's changing the grilling game for good, y'all. So don't forget to hit that link down below and get in on this crowdfunding program. All right, friends, we're an hour in. It's looking nice and moist, right where we want it to be. And check on it in a sec. All right, team, we are 3 hours in. Smoker tube's still smoking. Z-Grills is still smoking, but we are up to temperature and we're ready to wrap it. Got some beautiful color built on there. Now it's time to get it off and get it wrapped. Let's get that brisket off. We're gonna add a little beef tallow to this. I am one of the few that actually renders out the trimmings of a brisket. I'm gonna fold up the sides a little bit here. And we're gonna add a little beef stock in the wrap, about a half a cup. Fold over one side, and the other side. And finish your little envelope. Obviously, it's not gonna absorb any more smoke, but we're gonna leave that tube in there. Our probe is back in, shut it down. We're just gonna let this go until it gets to about 205, 210, right? Check for probe tenderness. We'll use an instant read thermometer and we'll take it in the house. Just that simple, guys. Once it's up to temperature, we gotta pull it out and we'll let it rest for at least 1 hour. And then we'll be able to slice up that brisket and have a few bites. We've gone 3 hours in the brisket wrap. Open up the Z-Grill. We're gonna check on for probe tenderness. I got a little instant read temperature probe. Then we're gonna take that probe and press it in there and make sure it's moving in and out like butter. That way we'll know it's ready to roll. Next up, it's time to get it in the house and let it rest. Now there's different ways of letting it rest. You can cover it with a bunch of towels and let it chill on your kitchen counter. You throw it in a cooler, or do what I do and I throw it in my oven because I have a warm setting that keeps it at 170. You know, I'm just gonna let it rest in there for at least an hour. You could let it rest longer, go for it, but at least an hour, guys. Trust me on that. You don't wanna skip that part. Next up, we're gonna get it out of the wrap and put it on a cutting board. And then we're gonna go ahead and cut it in half right where the point meets the flat. I'm gonna put it up to the camera. You can see how nice and juicy. Those juices are just flowing everywhere. Now we're gonna go ahead and cut up the flat. We're gonna cut against the grain. Make sure you're cutting against the grain on whether it's the point or the flat. It makes it so it's the slices are a lot tender and a lot more easy to eat. For the flat, I try to keep it around 1/4 inch slices. As you can see, it's nice and tender, cutting real easily. Again, we're gonna turn it, slice against the grain, and let's check the tenderness on one of the slices. Guys, that is tender as can be right there. You know your boy's gotta take a bite. Flavor packed, unctuous, fatty, juicy. The point is my favorite part of the brisket. And you can tell by the look on my face, I'm enjoying that bad boy. So today we did a hot and fast brisket. 3 hours with the smoke, 3 hours in the wrap, an hour of resting. Times are approximate. We cook to internal temperatures around here, but it does give you a baseline of what you are looking for when you're doing a hot and fast brisket. As you can see, smoking a brisket doesn't need to be stressful, intimidating, or hard. Just follow these simple steps and let Z-Grills do the rest. But that's it for today, folks. Do me a favor, hit that subscribe button and that notifications bell so you don't miss out on the next episode of Smoker School from Z-Grills and CJ. Take care, y'all.